This document explores the concept of magnetic fields as fundamental to all existence, from the smallest atom to the entire universe, and their profound connection to human health, morality, and societal well-being. It traces the historical understanding and use of magnetism, particularly in healing, from ancient civilizations to its modern revival. Here are the main points. Ubiquity of magnetic fields. The study of magnetism dates back to ancient Egypt and Greece, where it was used in healing and understood by figures like Pythagoras. It was later explored by alchemists, Rosicrucians, Hermetists, Paracelsus, and Robert Fludd, and resurfaced in modern times after being largely ignored. What appears to be empty air is in fact a tremendous field of magnetic energy and a substance in itself. This atmosphere carries the magnetism of the sun, a concept recognized by Ptolemy of Alexandria. Every planet is a field of magnetic energy, transmitting this energy through what we perceive as air. Analogy with television transmission demonstrates how this invisible atmosphere can transmit and differentiate an infinite complexity of separate vibrations or emanations without confusion, proving its active and structured nature. Everything that exists has a magnetic field, even if not visible, including inanimate objects like stones, trees, and even a single cell within a potato. This applies to natural forms, artificial forms, and even abstract concepts like sorrow or integrity. Magnetics in the human body. Each human body is surrounded by an etheric field or energy field, sometimes called an aura, extending typically 3 to 5 feet in every direction. This magnetic field is the basis of virtue and depends on the individual's mood, emotion, thought, and attitudes. A healthy, well-maintained magnetic field provides tremendous protection, aiding in healing, recovering functions, and resisting infections. Energy for this field comes from the sun, enters through the crown of the head, circulates throughout the body, and is re-cleansed by solar energy. Each organ and even every cell within the body has its own magnetic field, which collectively form the grand magnetic field of the complete person. The heart is considered the source of all energy fields in the human body by ancient astrologists, with all other energies radiating from it. Morality, integrity, and magnetic fields. The survival of the individual depends upon maintaining the integrity of this magnetic field. Breaking nature's laws, which are also laws of God, damages the magnetic flow. This damage can be caused by physical interferences, riotous living, negative moods, attitudes, fears, complexes, alcohol, drugs, and narcotics. Such damage immediately impacts health, vitality, increases susceptibility to contagions, and shortens life expectancy. Virtue builds up magnetic fields, while vice tears them down. This is not merely an ethical rule, but a practical law of human structure. Doing it right involves using magnetic fields correctly to protect health and well-being. The law of the energy field is the law of integrity, which determines right and wrong actions and attitudes. Negative actions like selfishness, losing one's temper, or compromising principles damage the magnetic field and are thus deemed wrong. Damage to the magnetic field of specific organs, like the digestive system, can lead to chronic ailments, e.g., dyspepsia. An individual cannot be truly contaminated or damaged by external negative magnetic fields or other people unless they compromise their own integrity through conscious, intellectual, or emotional weakness. Selfishness destroys one's own defenses against the selfishness of others, creating a reciprocal effect where evil done to others can return to the doer. Meditation, when used for selfish gain, e.g., fortune, social advancement, violates the proper use of magnetic resources and leads to trouble. The true purpose of esoteric doctrines is for the advancement of the common good. Societal and environmental implications. Institutions, governments, republics, autocracies, monarchies, and even buildings like churches and banks are considered living entities with magnetic fields, embodying attitudes and responsibilities. If they fail to fulfill their purpose honorably or prioritize profit over integrity, they will suffer consequences, like financial ruin or self-destruction. Abuse of energy leads to magnetic defects and disaster. This includes misuse of natural resources, forests, water, air. Aggressive commercialism, corruption of communication media, e.g. toxic broadcasts, and even nuclear fission. Current global problems like environmental degradation, societal conflict, and general disillusionment are attributed to a lack of integrity and the abuse of energy factors in human life. The concept of right and wrong is fundamentally about what builds up or tears down the essential energies life depends on. The document concludes by emphasizing that humans are gardeners of a beautiful world, and their continued abuse of its energy resources and disregard for integrity will lead to further destruction and loss of vital resources. The solution lies in a reorganization of the science of energies, promoting integrity, and understanding that all things in nature are meant to be used, not abused. This applies to personal conduct, societal structures, and our relationship with the planet.